In a flat up in Chicago, with a keyboard and some tea, lives a man with a funnel plan as clever as can be. He ditched his law degree for plugins that go zing. Now WooCommerce dances every time he pulls a string.
Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Spence. Somebody's got I still have one of my tabs open to make sure it's working. All right, fantastic. We've got confirmation. We've got a few folks already rolling in. Good morning to those of you early adopters. Lloyd, good morning. And anybody else, say hi. Let me know, confirm that the audio and video sounds good. I actually pulled it off today, I think. I've got my usual suspects showing up, but today I'm going to do a different topic. Today I'm actually pretty excited. I'm going to talk about some of the monetization stuff because this has come up in the last couple of days. Let me also share today's topic up on the screen. It's how I close $5,000. Good morning, John. Thank you. How I close $5,000 VIP clients with just one call. And what I am going to share with you is what I used to do on a regular basis on Fridays. I would talk about strategy because more than ever, I think today, those of you who have been following and using the MinuteLaunch system really need just practical advice on how exactly does this play out. Now, I was lucky enough to meet John Lawler on my little escape trip to Miami a couple of weeks ago, and we did actually have this kind of a conversation. What I'm going to talk about today are based upon real-world subjects, real-world topics that allows all of us to do the thing that is most valuable. And I'm actually getting texts from my sister and my friend. My sister's in the media business. She's texting me from the airport. She rarely watches my show because she's usually doing her show, but they're traveling somewhere. So today what I'm going to do is share with you what is most imperative to us right now in February of 2026 is that the AI revolution is literally a gold rush. And remember, we talked last week about the armpit curve of early adoption. If you had a mountain, like an inverted bell curve, you come up right in the armpit of the left arm. And this is where we're at today, where you and I and all of us are building and doing things that other normal people have just started to realize might be existing. When it gets up to the top, where my mom goes, oh my God, today some people were talking about AI, it will be too late. More importantly, because of what's being done with these tools, the capabilities, if you're not going full throttle, pedal to the metal today, doing what I'm showing you to do with the tools that I'm providing you, I do fear that it will be not too late, but it'll be like the people who go, I just bought Bitcoin at 8,000 or something like that. You know, I literally have a story myself because I'm a tech guy. I bought Bitcoin at $7 or something. I bought like one share of it, 2 shares of it, and it went to like 400. And I thought I was a genius and I sold it. It wasn't much of a genius in that. But when it comes to this stuff, I'm telling you for sure, the opportune moment is for you to be the liaison for the people that are going to use the technology. And let's just review some of the recent stories on this topic. My sister actually sent this to me, but it's really just something that I've seen many times before. Let me get this out of the way. And this is an article today. Let's also zoom that out. Let's do it like this. Just zoom this out a bit. This is an article that was in Twitter. Something big is happening. Well, something big has been happening for some time. Remember, I had my hot tub moment in July of 2025. That's going to seem like a billion years ago. But when I realized sitting in the hot tub with the first incarnation of the MinuteLaunch AI software, that I could do more from my phone in the hot tub than I was doing in a year of coding on my desktop. Since then, really ridiculous amounts of progress have been made. But this article, like many, goes on to talk about how essentially the companies like Anthropic, OpenAI, Google, Twitter X, whatever they call it, Kimi, Moonshot, Llama with Meta, they're all removing all of the safeguards. And that the latest version of OpenAI is 5.3. The latest version of Anthropic's Opus 4.6. They have the capability now that I feel really is representative of what AGI is going to be, or in layman's terms, they have the capability now to do multi-agentic organization and self-motivation. And that's why I've built some software like I'm going to demonstrate today, the latest version of MinuteLaunch Claude, right? MinuteLaunch Claude, or Claw, represents the way that you can have access to this kind of capability today for doing your bidding. And when I talk about the strategy today, it's going to be based upon how did things actually go down with the clients, okay? So I'm going to do a little bit of show and tell. I'm going to do a little bit of revealing under the kimono how I actually do stuff. But let's start with a conversation. First of all, in context, how does Spence's sales funnel work? Well, we've talked about this year specifically, for as long as you guys have been my clients, I have a methodology that dates back to 1977. My 10-year-old self going to summer camp realized that a bunch of kids in my neighborhood, we played baseball and hockey and stuff in the street. These were the 70s guys. Like, come on, most of you guys know. High five, Gen X. The kids would always come use our guest bathroom whenever they needed to use the bathroom, because we were a very liberal household. And my father had this wonderful collection of Playboy and Penthouse magazines in the guest bathroom. So anybody who needed to use the bathroom really quickly disappeared for an hour. You can do the math on that for a bunch of 11 and 12-year-old boys. When I went to camp, I realized, like I've told you famously, I packed a bunch of those magazines in my trunk, and I realized intuitively that I was solving a problem based upon something that I didn't understand in detail, but understood enough intuitively. And 4 weeks later, $600 later, my father got a call from the camp director. Mr. Foreman, we've got your son, the porn king of Camp Menominee, with his $600 of ill-gotten gains and blah, blah, blah. And my father was like, what? Only 600? If we flash forward to 2026, it's the same thing. Spence is out there on the streets, not working at a job, but Spence is out there doing essentially what we're showing today, what we're talking about today. Spence is out there in the struggle, learning what is the latest and greatest thing. What is the thing that causes this young lady who's been on my website forever to no longer make that face? And it does still involve WordPress. It does still involve these things. This is what we're going to talk about. Membership sites, marketing automation sites, online coursework, e-commerce, social networking. You are solving problems of people who have a Frankenstein monster. They put together a mashup of plugins and services that have no business going together, only to find out that was a disaster. Or they have what I call little old lady swallowed a fly syndrome, which is shiny ball syndrome, like a golden retriever. Ooh, 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 ooh. They started doing something, didn't really know exactly what they're doing, so they swallowed a fly. And then, I don't know why, they swallowed the fly. Maybe they'll die. But then they swallowed the spider to catch the fly. Then they swallowed a bird to catch the spider. Wriggled and jiggle inside of her. Okay. These are problems that the rest of the people that I interact with daily and you are actually interacting with, but you don't realize you're interacting with, have as a problem. Good morning, Julie. Good to see you. They are trying to build businesses from, I am going to go out into the world using my ChatGPT. I'm going to use ChatGPT. Hi, ChatGPT. They do hear and know about something like ChatGPT, but they'll do something like, hey, ChatGPT, build a business for me today. And they don't know what the state of the art is. They don't know what the right questions are to ask. They don't realize what their pains are. And here's the reason why. When I want to do landscaping or yard work or home repair and improvement, I actually did all that for a profession. I actually had that as a hobby. But if you asked me to go on the roof today, I wouldn't go on the roof today, because I also learned going up on a ladder when you're 59 years old is just a guarantee of breaking my neck and ending it all. So I will do things like I'll go on Angie's List and hire a contractor, or I will call up some of my old contractors and get them to bid on it. What's the metaphor? The metaphor is that the people who are doing business today have a nickel, and many of them want to squeeze that to get 6 pennies out of it in order to solve what they perceive as a problem with their business, with their operations, with their office. But here's what happens. They build themselves a Frankenstein monster. They build themselves a shiny ball syndrome. So the one thing that I learned was, if you look at my site, it alludes to the nature of what it is that I'm doing. Like, you can understand keywords here on the billboard: profitable WordPress AI solutions. And then here's some more descriptive adjectives, right? Membership site, marketing automation. And I do go into like a little bit of detail, just a like a little hair's breadth of courses, membership areas, sales funnels, e-marketing. But then the rest of it is like what I've learned in the past. This is pure bracket pricing. This is, how can I make sure that if I meet people, and by the way, like I famously I'm just on a roll these last couple of weeks. I'm just meeting people through all these connections. I'm going to talk about it, where all I am doing is I am expressing to these people who are in whatever business they may be in, I'm curious about what you do. What do you do for your profitable business? What do you make your living from? What is it that you're using? What are the tools? Curiosity is the secret to success for selling what you're going to do in this moment in time. Why? Because the curious person opens up a psychological phenomena. Let's ask ChatGPT. Hey, ChatGPT, it's Spence. Can you please explain in 2 paragraphs why it is that people respond best in a sales call or a sales conversation to somebody who's the salesperson expressing tons of interest in them personally and what they do? Give us a summary what that phenomena is called psychologically. I know because I can actually say I graduated with a psychology degree. There's a human phenomena subconsciously. There's many of them. One of them is mirroring, both in language and gestures. Another one is this. If you ask a person at a party, a social engagement, a professional engagement, to constantly talk about themselves, you quite literally just keep asking them more and more questions about themselves. At the end of that party or function, they will tell everybody they know, I just met the smartest, nicest person I've ever met in my life. And it's you. And you never said one thing about yourself. Include a description about why it doesn't even require the salesperson to talk about themselves or what they sell in order to become so likable. This is a known phenomenon. Let's see what ChatGPT says. Now, by the way, I'm using the regular ChatGPT to explain. This is another example of how like everybody can use ChatGPT or Gemini or anywhere. But the problem is it's just random chats like at the toll booth with the toll booth operator. This doesn't by itself do anything. It's when it's in our system, as I'll show you in a second, that it makes a difference. So he's going on about, let's see what he says. The self-reference effect. That's maybe what it's called. The self-reference effect means information connected to oneself is processed more deeply and remembered better. If the conversation centers on them, they cognitively anchor you to their own story. Add in the illusion of transparency and empathetic validation. Something subtle happens. They feel seen. Humans are wired to bond with those who signal understanding. Notice the elegance of this. You don't have to talk about yourself or your offer at all in the early stages. In fact, restraint increases perceived status. When you're not trying to prove your worth, you implicitly signal you have it. It's a strange twist. The less you sell yourself, the more the brain sells for you. Okay, I'm going to paste this into YouTubeo because this is exactly the point. The point is, if we just act like selfless, interested, curious people, we will end up putting ourselves in a position to sell more, do more. As usual, YouTube is saying, no bueno, you cannot paste that much stuff. Let's see if it works if I paste it here. Hold on. It's maybe happy, maybe not. Oh, it worked if I did it that way. Okay. So what I'm suggesting is the premise that we're starting with today on this sales thing is that what I do myself is, if you look at the site, you can see wherever I go, whenever I make content, I'm basically saying, go book a free call. And the tools that I use are the same tools that I offer inside of my own system, which is you can connect to Calendly if you use Calendly, or you can just use a Fluent Booking, or you could just use the telephone. It doesn't make a difference, although Zoom is really important. Now notice, this is the part that has really made a difference. And this is a part that I'm making it easier for you guys as well. When I'm having a call with somebody, I don't have to complicate matters by later having to explain this complex thing. I took years to figure out what's in this grid, and you can borrow this grid exactly. You don't have to change a single thing. You literally can sell the MinuteLaunch system as your own system, and you just sell it directly off my platform if you wish. It's there's a 20% margin here. So it's 77 wholesale price. You keep 20 a month. It's 157 a month here. You keep 40 a month. It is 497 a month, which nets you 97 a month profit. So 240 a year, 480 a year, $1,200 a year just for using the system white label. And then I offer this part. And by breaking it up into two parts, here's what happens. People are like, Spence, you've been so helpful. You're so smart. You told me everything I need. What do I have to pay for? And I go, well, you can just pay 97 a month and get everything you need. Holy mackerel. Now, literally, there's some things left out, but they get all the software of the traditional software bundle, right? Which you can offer as well. All of the WordPress plugins that they're paying for now probably amount to several $1,000s a year of obligations, complications, recurring charges, relationships with strangers. You can offer it to them included. They get all of our AI software, right? Everything that's included inside of the plugin manager, all of these tools that we've been working on that make everything as easy as just asking your dude or their dude for help. Fully documented and access to the community. That's a great deal when they self-host, but most people are going to want to go with the extra little benefit. What if Spence was actually behind this? So I don't have to worry about all those technical questions. Spence can answer them because he's getting paid the 157 net. Unlimited email support. My clients can just ask Spence. It's like if there was a concierge running Google. Wouldn't that be nice? Instead of waiting 4 years for an email response. But it includes the hosting and the Cloudflare and the CDN. So the client just pays, and this 197 pays for itself in at least 5 ways. 1, software bundle. Number 2, what is it worth to get unlimited help from an expert with 20 years experience in the software field and development who wrote the platform and 40, 50 years entrepreneurial experience? What's that's worth? Come on. I charge $300 an hour for in-person consultation. Here, a person gets unlimited email questions, which, by the way, are 80-20 as much value. The hosting, the CDN, backups, and security. That in and of itself, if you went to WP Engine or some shenanigan, they're going to charge you $150 just for that. You get all of the API keys. We all know that the API keys, if you go right to Anthropic or ChatGPT or Grok, is 100, 150, 200 a month. If you added this up, this probably has on the order of $1,000 of retail value. When you look at what can be done with it, like last week, and we talked about Hootsuite, I have several tools that I've just introduced into the bundle, including MinuteLaunch Social. MinuteLaunch Social for free or $20 a month if you get more replaces what Hootsuite does that they charge $3.99 a month. Just that alone. I mean, you see where I'm going is I'm saying you have a value of bundle, just like when my friends wanted to use the bathroom at our house on Clover Road. They got a lot of value as preteen boys, right? There was a lot of information they weren't teaching in school available in the magazines and my parents' guest bathroom. And when I went to camp with those very same instructional manuals, all of the male counselors and campers seemed to agree. They were very happy to pay $5 an hour to rent them from me until I got busted. Now it's the same thing. But now you add to that services. And one of the service elements, by the way, is right here. I'm going to come to this because this applies to you as well. I have one service element, which is what if you took the fully hosted thing and you just took $300, the equivalent of 1 hour of my time if you had a private call, and I take care of, with my dudes, setting up your email list building sequence, do 1 a week email, and I do your newsletter. The dudes, like I've shown you before, take care of all of it. Once I set it up, either on the desktop or in this case, I'll show you in the site itself, I don't really have to do anything. They just take care of it. And I can charge $4.97. Now, why is that valuable? Because every single one of these people in your ecosystem that you speak to is going to have a need for this. This right here is the largest value proposition of anything, because I guarantee you, when you ask them, what email system are you using? How many people are on your list? How many times do you send things to these people? What do you send to them that makes them more likely to become paying customers or to stay around and give you recurring revenue? I guarantee you their jaw drops. They kind of go, and they make a sort of guttural sound. They don't know. And then you say, what's it worth to you in your business if you get one more customer? Well, $10,000. You go, well, what if myself as an expert just took care of that and I can demonstrably show more people coming in, because I can create the email, I can create the sales funnel, I can create the conversion process, I can create the follow-up, I can create the churn, defense mechanism from people leaving your paid subscription. What does that cost? You go, less than you're paying now for your CRM like HubSpot or Salesforce or even MailChimp, less than you're paying now for some dude or dudette in another country to take care of managing these things, and they have no idea what your business is about. You can reach me anytime, because, by the way, even when they pay for my system and they have Spence at the ready, you can add on to this what you do. Here also is the additional things that I sell. I have them in my pocket right here, ready to sell. Listen, you can go with, here's how it sounds. And I'm going to go through these sequences, by the way, one by one, but like, hey, you know what? You get started for $97 a month, cancel anytime. You own and control everything. You get rid of all the expensive software subscriptions and SaaS platforms. Hey, by the way, nobody could kick you off the platform. Hey, by the way, you're not sharing your data about your customers and your private stuff with anybody else like a SaaS service. If you don't like Spence, you can leave anytime and take it all with you. Oh, and by the way, if you ever want me to come on over and cook the recipes in the cookbook with you, it's just $300 and you get a Zoom video, you get a Fathom transcript, you get an AI summary. Everything is like a private trainer for setting up the very same things that you're going to otherwise struggle to do yourself. It's a no-brainer. Nobody has ever said no to me in the last 6 months on $97 or $197 a month and adding $300 an hour. I try to get them to just start with $497, because I also say, if you start with $497, you can drop down to the other plans anytime. I mean, probably you don't want to host it yourself, but you could drop from $497 down to $197, and you'll demonstrably see how much money you're making, because all of the tools are demonstrating that for you, just on convenience, let alone actual customers as well. Now, some people say, well, I have these guys that, work for me, and they did a good job, but they really are knuckleheads because they just like, they don't do it fast enough, or I know they're not working for my business and they don't know me. And I feel bad because if I call them, they charge me money and stuff. I go, how about a concierge engagement? Concierge marketing engagement is essentially an extended version of this. It's that something less than full-time VIP, but something more than just doing your basic marketing. Spence is available as your chief technical officer, your chief marketing officer, your chief AI expert, your chief, what do I do, mirror, mirror on the wall guy. And for $1,500 a month, I can have the very same dudes here set up automatically to do the things we just talked about. content creation, social media scheduling, SEO, email campaigns, analytics, growth strategy. It's like having a speed dial to a concierge. If you've ever stayed at a Four Seasons, like the Four Seasons Toronto, it sounds really fancy, but it's not. It's elegant. The value proposition for the money is actually in what you get. Let me do a comparison, even though this is ridiculous. If I was going to go to Toronto, which I love, and I won't even change the day. Sunday, March 15th to Monday, March 16th. If I go right to the hotel, $382 for, if you've never been there, trust me, these rooms are crazy awesome. Okay. A superior king suite overlooking the city. If I showed you these pictures, you'd just shit a brick how nice it is in there. It's got a couch. It's got a huge bathroom. I mean, just gorgeous. I've stayed in this very room. I mean, this layout. I have pictures to prove it. When you stay here, you get access to the amenities like their pool, their spa. Their spa at the Four Seasons Toronto is to die for. To die for. I'm wondering if they have the pictures here that I can show you. View more photos. This is to die for. It is literally the nicest thing you've ever seen. The pool itself, I spent all day in there with my son. It has a gym next to it. And I mean, just, okay. Why am I going on about this? So you're in the best part of town. You're spending $382. There is a concierge at the front desk. I don't know if they list the concierge if I search for it, who will do everything and anything you want. You want to get tickets to the Maple Leafs game. You want to have food delivered. You need a massage in your room. You need, one time for my son's mom, flowers on the bed for the birthday with chocolate, whatever. They don't ask. They just do it. You walk in and there's luxurious people doing luxurious things. They've got luxurious dining. Okay, I'm going on and on. I think we're going to Toronto this weekend. The point is $382 for what looks like this. Now, let's just pretend I go Best Western Toronto. I don't know if there is one. Okay, here's one at the airport. Best Western Parkway Hotel. Different dates, but let's just say if I made it March, whatever I said, 16th to 18th. Okay. Let's see what it comes up as. I'm going to say north. I'm going to say in the same neighborhood. It's 175 because I know for a fact that this is the neighborhood here around Richmond Hill that the Four Seasons. 175 versus 300 and what did I say? 328. I'm losing my mind here. 382. Okay, so call it $210 more. But let's look at what the Best Western looks like, because this is it. Okay, still very lovely, very lovely. Not even close. And look, it's a fucking pull-out bed. Sorry for swearing, but it's like a pull-out bed kind of situation. It's an outdoor pool. It's the kind of place you go to when you have the kids and you're like on the way to somewhere else. Okay, $200 difference. What's my point? Why is Spence raving about the hotel besides wanting to go to $200 and I'm there for 3 nights? That's $600. The feeling you get when you come away from an experience at the Four Seasons is like nothing I can describe, because their entire thing for that extra $200 a night is to make you feel like the world doesn't exist. Like you are being pampered beyond belief. Like literally, I left there feeling like I'm a billionaire. Okay. That's what we're selling. We are selling that experience. We are selling, what if instead of grinding it away to save a penny on a nickel using WordPress plugins and doing it myself, what if Concierge Spence or Concierge you spent the time to talk to and listen to the business owner? You literally had your own free call and you used Fathom like I do to record every call, and it's built in, right? So I use Fathom video. I very famously look at me. I am a star in Fathom because I have 404 points, whatever that is worth. I wish I could turn that into my, oh, look at that. Look, I have a chance to win $1,000 Amazon gift card. But the point is, I'm on track this year like last year. I got 484 points last year or something. I'm on track to get an award for the most calls, because you can see even on the screen, I do no less than 2 calls a day, sometimes 3, 4, 5 calls a day. And all of those calls now go into the system, for God's sake. All of the things that you do with your customers in a free Zoom call with Fathom now become part of the conversation. And you can actually view any of those calls or have the dudes use the calls, so that as part of what you do, what he does for marketing, you have heard every single thing during your free call that you need to know. And it's memorialized, so that when you want to go back and offer a solution, your concierge marketing, your VIP experience are exactly what the person told you. Let's stop for a second. The person spends 15 minutes of your time. No Facebook ads, no Google ads, no money. I spend $0, never have, on advertising. I spend time on building relationships with other entrepreneurs and other businesses where they send their customers to me for a free call. I make YouTube videos so people click the link and make a free call. I solve the problem they thought they had. Spence, something's wrong with WP Fusion. Spence, something's wrong with this Gravity Forms plugin. Spence, something's wrong with WordPress in general. And I go, interesting. Tell me, little old lady swallowed a fly, what you've swallowed next. And they go on and on and on and on. In my mind, and this is the secret, I'm using that rule that I talked about, which was, in my mind, I keep asking them more and more questions about themselves. The self-reference effect. I keep saying to myself every time they ask a question, tell me more. What did you do this for? Why did you do that? What is the benefit of doing this in your mind? Who does this for you? How is it working out? How are your kids? What do you like to do? Did you see that funny movie? I'm not selling anything. Nothing. I'm just asking questions, because in my head, I've always got, I'm going to offer them this or this or this. And in my head, if they don't need those, I've got this. If they don't need anything that I have to sell for the platform, the remainder of the people just pay me for my expertise. Because after spending 15 minutes, a lot of them spend 30 minutes or 40 minutes or an hour goes by for free, and they've revealed to me everything about their lives, which is really crazy. And let's ask ChatGPT. Hello, ChatGPT. Okay, this is awesome, and I agree with the way you said it. Thanks for giving me the self-reference effect. That was the term I was looking for. What is it called when you start talking to people like this, and then they reveal way more about themselves and their businesses than they ever intended to, but they don't feel bad about it. They feel good about it. What's that effect called? So what happens is, it's kind of like if you're a person at a bar and somebody starts telling you the story of their life, what happens next is they've told you everything they wouldn't tell their best friends. It literally happens. Okay. And this is called reciprocal self-disclosure. It's the tendency for people to match the depth of vulnerability or openness they perceive in a conversation. But here's the twist in sales. You don't even have to disclose much yourself. Here it is. Let's zoom in, kids. Deep, attentive listening plus well-aimed questions create what psychologists call the psychological safety. That is the feeling that it's safe to share without judgment. When that safety signal is present, the brain lowers its social guard. The amygdala, threat detection, quiets down, and the prefrontal cortex, reflection and story taking take over. People start narrating their own reality more freely. Then there's also what's called the norm of reciprocity, and that's emotional. If you offer your genuine attention, people feel an unconscious pull to return that openness, because that's a social gift. It creates catharsis. And this is the sales angle. When somebody explains their business challenges in detail, they're engaging in what behavioral economists call commitment and consistency bias. Once they've articulated their goals, pain points, and aspirations, they begin to see themselves as someone who is serious about solving them. By the way, I'm going to share this ChatGPT with you guys. I'm going to copy the link and I'm going to put it in there. Good morning. I'm going to show on the screen. This is what I see. Good morning. Okay, so I'm going to share this link because you guys can follow along. I think if you have ChatGPT, I'll post this anyway. So this is what's happening. I'm having these conversations. I'm describing for people exactly what it is that they would expect from a trusted friend, a therapist, somebody who they can open up to. And they ask themselves, what else can this guy do for me? What else can he offer me? I never, ever, ever, never have to pitch my stuff. They simply say, well, how do I start? And I go, start with this. $97 a month, 30-day money back guarantee, no commitment, host it yourself. But that easily moves into the value of just, well, for an extra 100, you get unlimited email from me, and I take care of the security, the backups, the hosting, all that stuff. They're like, yeah. And then I demonstrate for them exactly what we said, which was, here's why all the other tools you're using are too expensive or getting in your way, or you're spending your time on things you shouldn't be doing. And then I go, but because they go, but I don't have anybody to help me and I'm lazy. I go, no problem. We've got that built in. Depending on what I just heard, I'll say, you know what, just a couple hours, start with an hour of personal support, and that'll solve most of your problems. But if you like what you do, you can either go with like baby concierge, me to take this over for you at a value that, by the way, returns more money, time savings, or problem solving than the cost of what they were already spending. Or I can even dip down into this little doodad. Just the cost of an extra $300 a month takes care of thousands of dollars of value. But here's the winner. The VIP experience is the Four Seasons Hotel versus the Best Western. Okay. Instead of the Best Western, and by the way, this looks very nice, but this looks like drop ceilings and whatever. Instead of this, I go, you know what? I don't know how long you've been struggling, but I can take you for the weekend you'll never forget. And in just a couple days, maybe a little longer, we can make for you the thing you've always dreamed of, the things you always believed you wanted to have happen. We can make happen. We can take you to the Four Seasons Toronto, and it's not going to cost you more than you're spending now. It's going to cost you probably less. You're going to be by this luxurious, crazy, awesome pool, dining at this amazingly architectural significant place, walking through rooms that make you feel you walked into a billionaire's lair. And it's only the cost of less than you already got now. And when I do that, here's a kicker. This just kicked in this weekend, and I've tested it now twice. I signed up 2 new VIP clients this week. Thank goodness. The kids will eat. Here's what I did. Normally, you guys, everybody pays the $197 to be on the platform. Normally, the $5,000 VIP is on top of it as a service. But as I'm going to show you in a minute, the dudes are so gosh darn efficient now. The dudes that I'm giving you in your site, included in the price, you don't have to pay the extra couple $100 a month, are so good right now that I actually tried a strategy. It was actually requested of me by 2 clients, and it worked out. The first one was in the remodeling business. This card's right here. He and I walked through. He uses 3 pieces of software. He uses HubSpot, Asana, and this thing called BuilderNet or something. I forget what it's called, Builders Network or something. I forget the exact tool. Forgive me for that. But it's basically like project management software for construction remodelers. I asked him how much it cost, and he's spending about $997 a month on just the software. But he also has a team of people that he has to hire to do basic stuff, and he still feels like he's leaving a huge gap in his business. He was skeptical, as he should be, about just dropping $5,000, but he did ask me about it in the very first call we had. I met him at a pro group, and we just had one call in the first call. And he said, do you have any contacts? I said, I sure do. And by the way, normally I wouldn't do this, but I don't think there's anything about what he and I talked about that's bad. So I'm actually going to share an email with you guys, because I'll see if I can predict his name. But like, I don't think there's anything he said. This is me going the other direction. Okay, I'm going to do it this way, just so I'm going to share it with you. And I'm going to do it in a way that allows me to demonstrate that I practice what I preach. And there's a bunch of other things here. I'm going to open this in a new window. Hold on. I know you can't see what I see yet, but I just want to try to make this as discreet as I can. And my apologies, but I'm trying to open this in a way so that I can show original. Screw this. I'm just going to show you this thing as is. Okay, here's what it is. Ignore the other things on the side, okay? What I did is in the call, and it says his name, so just pretend you don't see his name. I had Fernando write the response. You know, for a billion years, I've been showing you how Fernando takes care of stuff. So this is on February 10th, this is the actual email, which is, hey, Michelangelo, that's his name. Great talking to you. Just to recap, we're going to build you a custom demo of the platform based on your wish list, completely on spec. Let me pause for a second. I'll come back to this. I decided that what if, instead of asking him to pay for it and do it, what if I just had my dudes build it? Because I figured if I have the dudes build it and they can do it in that little amount of time, if it shows him everything it would be doing before he asks for it, this is what we call the locksmith's paradox. I'm going to come back to this. So I said to him, you are going to give me a detailed list, just speak into the phone about what you need, your business processes, what you want it to do, how you want the data to flow, etc. Things like Fido sleeps till 9 a.m. Then you're going to schedule 1 hour follow-up with me with my automated calendar. And by the time we meet, I will have built you the working prototype based on the wish list. I then also, by the way, some of you guys, if you're on this list, God bless you, you're my VIP clients. I also had to give a list of people who had agreed to be contacted as references. You can see some names here, okay, including one of my new clients who's not yet finished with a project, but I'm going to show you her project. And then I said, feel free to reach out to them. The ball's in your court. Okay, so what this was, first of all, is one example of I can sell a VIP thing with the dudes that are in the MinuteLaunch system by literally having them build the final thing before the person even pays a dime. The time invested in that is less than the cost of if I had paid for a stupid Facebook ad or Google ad or anything else, or even spent the time to make content. I literally can say to people, I have the capacity like Willy Wonka to just generate any candy you need on demand because I've got the factory and the Oompa Loompas ready. You do too. Good morning, Karina. I missed you. I had a call with your previous team earlier this week, but I was saying I missed you. I'm glad you're here. So number one, this new technique with the 5,000 involves essentially doing a spec solution after a free call that the clients cannot say no to that. Are you kidding me? Most of these people who come, and Karina actually is interesting because she's got one of my clients who's she was involved in, who's doing, you know, high volume business. Clients understand intuitively what their pain is. And after they get through this other psychological phenomena, if you show up with like, look at the 4 seasons, this is what you're going to be doing. They're going to see the pool and the concierge and the beautiful room and stuff. And they're going to be like, I was going to spend a couple bucks to stay in the Best Western, and now I can stay in the 4 seasons. And by the time I'm done, I'm already spending more money on that anyway. Because remember, with this client, with Michelangelo, we're not at the stage of closing yet, but we're between these 2 stages. I guarantee you he'll become a customer of some kind. And all it cost me was the time it takes, as I'll show you, to use the dudes to make something. Number 2, similar idea, different technique. I have another client of mine who's in the video deposition business, and I already knew his business because I've known him for 30 years, but we've been talking about these opportunities in that field, which he and I are going to pursue together. He revealed to me, without me asking, about all these other problems he's been having because he's very old school and has been doing things the same way. And in the process, he revealed to me so many obvious little old lady swallowed a fly problems that I didn't even have to blink. I'm like, his name's Steve. Steve, I can solve all of this. And I just literally did that. I went out and I just built on spec this system that you can see here. And there's many, many things to this that I'm not sharing with you at the moment, but I want to let you understand what this does. This is a 3-part system. It is for a person who is in the video court reporting business, it is a Deposition scheduler interface. These are fake numbers and stuff. His business is a very healthy business, multiple 7 figures. This allows all of the people, places, things, jobs, everything to be created and managed. This is off the shelf created. I will show you to prove it by the dudes using the MinuteLaunch system. It is a single file plugin that does exactly what you see here. And then I'm also going to show you how I repurpose some of this, because that's part of the little old lady swallowed a fly. Once you come up with some metaphors that you sell as part of your, I'll do that VIP, I can crank this out 6 ways to Sunday for every different purpose. For example, I mentioned Kathleen. Kathleen is in the managed properties business. Kathleen's solution, you'll notice, has a very similar metaphor in the interface that was part of a single file plugin that also runs on the MinuteLaunch system. Very interesting, Spence. Why is that? Well, that's because once you decide, like IKEA, this metaphor of 6 drawers works under a TV, you can replace the color of the drawers, the style of drawers, put a basket in there, but the basic 6 drawer thing still remains the same. All of these metaphors of being able to bounce around an interface and what it does, and notice it's keeping it locked in. I've got that in both of these clients, and I'm going to show you how I got there. But you see with the depth scheduler, it's the same idea. All of these interfaces are just built with single file WordPress MinuteLaunch plugins. I've got 2 other components to Steve, which I'm not going to go into details. There's the client component. The clients get their own interface for all of their cases, including the kind of stuff that I only dreamed about building, like literally live video transcription, live video editorial, if I want to take and create impeachment. I mean, the stuff that we're able to do here with single file plugins. I even have here, besides that, I have the Dep editor. The Dep editor is incredible. This is what replaced 4 people, 4 weeks, $400 of work. Simply take a Zoom call where they do it professionally. We drop it into the 11 Labs with an API. Then from 11 Labs, it gives us the JSON file. Drop the JSON file in, and the AI converts it into the transcript and then creates it into the final deposition ready to be consumed. $1 of cost, 7 minutes of time. Single file plugins made with the dudes. I'm going to pause for a second. So the sales conversation with Steve was very similar to that of Michelangelo. He said, holy shit, you have got a way to get rid of what I'm using is this old janky office software, management software, time code software, calendar software, all these things that are difficult for me. I'm already paying $500 a month. If I were to sell him hard sell, if I wasn't doing other business with him, I'd say, okay, $197 a month. Add on top of that, you're at $497 a month. I mean, ta-da. If I wanted to do the project, I probably could, would, should charge him $5,000 to take him where he's at to where he's going. And by the way, this isn't on the other part of the business. This is just on his office management stuff, which is quite universal. Like I have dozens of clients all doing the same stuff on the back end. These things will evolve into more products that you guys will also have access to as well. What I'm saying though is Steve asked me, what do you think if I paid you right now $5,000? And I said, no brainer. $5,000 right now, and I will throw in a year of hosting. But if you need help hands-on, you basically know it's $300 for an hour, whether it's one question for 5 minutes or not. You pay only by the hour. So every a la carte thing that you do on top of what I build for the 5,000 is going to be essentially like $300 an hour. He said, sold. Instantly rang the credit card. So I got an arrangement for $5,000 in pocket for something that my dudes were able to spit out in that one was not 2 minutes, but that was, I probably have an hour to 2 hours of actual talking to the dudes time and then just iterating. You can see it. If I looked at the versions, I can show you, there's probably 15 iterations of like, do a little. But the method that we've got in MinuteLaunch makes that so fun and easy, because I'm going to share with you here. Here's the actual video instanter folder. I don't mind sharing this stuff because it's not super secret. Notice I use GitHub, and then I have all the projects, and one of them is Video Instanter. That's the name of the company. Notice we got the client project, deposition project, scheduler project. If we go to the scheduler project, here's the plugin. Here's the releases folder. This is it. The entire experience from February 10th to February 13th. $5,000, then thereafter $300 an hour. Thereafter, after the first year, if we're not doing other things that are making a fortune, he will go to the $197 or the $497 a month because he's not going to go anywhere. Why? All of the stuff is going to be basically built into the WordPress box that I helped create, even though technically he could leave. Why would he leave the 4 seasons if he can? Bye, Jack. Love you. Have a safe drive. Call me when you're there, okay? My son is going back to school. So what I'm saying is, why would the client leave, right? The whole goal here is to build a recurring revenue business for yourself by getting a client that's so in love with living on the 17th floor of the 4 seasons of your hotel that you do everything for them. Hey, Spence. Hey, Ann. Hey, Julie, I want to change this thing. Can you do it? You're like, hell yeah, because I got a dude working full time here in the 4 seasons to take care of all those things for me. Okay. So 2 big takeaways, 2 big sales. The pitch is never, never, never trying to explain complexity. What do I explain to people? What do you explain to people? It's really simple. All the same terms I give for you, and I'll even have sales sheets for you, is I've got a WordPress solution that you own and control that eliminates all the outside relationships with expensive SaaS services who take your data or lock you out or treat you politically or do whatever they're doing, who increase their pricing on you without cause, who charge you for things that make no sense, like why are you paying more for more customers? Why is it more just to have more names in there? All of those things combined with the ability of myself to act as the concierge and deliver anything you want anytime, or make sure you get it. And by the way, you have the expertise of Spencer Foreman and the whole MinuteLaunch system and the 20 years he can bring to the table, all at your disposal for a low cost of $197 a month to start, which is less than you're paying now for the software alone, let alone the support, the service, the hosting. Any one of these alone would probably be $1,000 or more. What is it that you're waiting for? Prospective customer. Okay. Let me share with you how crazy some of this stuff can get in terms of the dudes. Now, on the left-hand side of my screen, you see some of my folks. This is Video Instanter. This is the dude right here. This is the guy. He just fixed version 2.3.5 this morning. I just was putting a little finishing touches on some of the lead magnet stuff that we're doing. And below him is the MinuteLaunch remodeler, by the way, inspired by my pal and business associate now, Harry Maisel, who I grew up with. I've taken what was previously an awesome idea and we're putting it live. That is a new product designed for real estate brokers and contractors that allows us to have a customer essentially say, I would like you to take a room or a part of the house or this or that and turn it into something else. But it acts as a lead generator. I'm not going to show you all of this right now, because I've shown it before. It has a custom interface and somebody could just add an image of whatever they want to add, like a living room. So if I typed in living room, okay, they upload it from their phone or multiple images. And this could be the broker or the person needing work done on their house, right? Living room, I would like to change the lighting. I have $5,000. I'd like to add dramatic mood lighting, track lighting, and some colorful lamps. Just go crazy here. Make it into like a disco environment. Really wild. Also paint the walls a dark umber. Okay. So they say what they like. They put in their information, you know, lead 12. This is not a real name, but I'm just saying lead at 12, blah, blah, blah.com. Okay. Phone number, address, city, state, Illinois, Now, this goes into the CRM. Hello, this notifies the contractor. Hello, on their mobile MinuteLaunch platform using MinuteLaunch Claw. It tells them somebody just submitted a new lead. You can call them right now, and here's all the thing. But what does it really do? What it really does is it lets the person know that in like 2 minutes, they're going to get an email back. The email is going to have one or more of the images they submitted in the after mode. I'm going to show you the rough before and after here, but essentially they're going to get a pre-made beautiful report that is their own custom landing page that has the before and after. This is what I recommend for restaging your house. This is what I recommend we can build for you. This is what I recommend we can remodel for you. So the leads that come in go into the CRM. The leads that come in are available here for the remodeler. If they're not using Fluent CRM, they're just here. If they are using Fluent CRM, which I think I have installed on this site, yeah, then they will end up inside of the contacts. The person who's the contractor or the real estate broker will also get the information sent about what the person has as a budget, what's their priority, what's their pain, and they will be given automatically a follow-up email. The client will be about what it is that can happen. Let's have a call. Let me come to your house. Let me show you what we can do. So this is an example of the very same sales process using the very same tools automated. So here's what happened in this case. The tool does the before and the after exactly per the recommendation. This is, by the way, I'm thinking I'm going to move into this room. But imagine these two put together in the final version of this where it's got that slider, you know, that does the back and forth, because that's what this does. Oh, here it is. See an interactive before and after. Let me see actually if this is fully working. This part is still, this part is still under construction. But what it would do, should do, oh, it's too bad it's not working. I wanted to show it to you. You know, those like slider things, you know, it's going to essentially do that thing where you can just go back and forth between the pages, but super cool. And this isn't something that somebody couldn't do on their own. I mean, anybody could take a picture and go to ChatGPT or Google Gemini Flash, but would they? Could they? I don't know. I don't think they can. Just like Spence doesn't get on the roof and clean his gutters because I don't want to. So as a lead magnet, as a system, I provide this to you guys as a ready to go thing for whatever your client's business is. This could be hair cutting. For Marie, I don't know, Marie, if you're here, Marie does plus size women's clothing. This could very easily be done with, as I'm doing, put in your body size shape. If you want, you can wear clothes or skivvies or whatever. Then here's all of the things that Marie's other side of the equation are offering you for clothes. See how it looks on you, save copies of it, make comparisons, get good deals on buying these because you know you look great in it. This is the kind of stuff that can happen. Okay, so I'm going to show you one last aspect of this too, because we're at the top of the hour. But what I want to emphasize is, so what we've got is now a system that's got, by the way, my affiliate sales link I'm going to show you is hooked up. You don't have to build anything. You don't have to host anything. You don't have to create anything. You can get this system for yourself, make anything with the tools, and just put them on client sites using your traditional system. I don't care. Use it, make it, go put it on your client site. You will not get, if you do that, the clients having the active AI or the active tools, but you'll get the work product, whether it's your newsletter, the email marketing, the creation of whatever you want to do. Just be the intermediary. Take your 20 or 40 or $100 a month as a sales commission for them using my platform. Go to town, add your service on top of it, even though you don't have to tell them your dudes are doing it. If you want, you can use the sales technique I just said, which was you can now do, as I'll show you, the kind of things that would have required hundreds of thousands of dollars and years of knowledge just by asking the dudes to do it. And many of them come like IKEA, like I promised, ready to take home and decorate your business with for whatever the business. Lloyd has been very excited about the potential for doing it in his field. I know John is doing it. Karina's got clients that do this. All of you guys have your own version of this. Julie, for sure, 3 or 4 business lines. You can do this for any type of business because everybody is in this armpit curve of the gold rush. They know they need it. You show up at their door for the next 3 to 6 months And that is what's going on. If you show up after 6 months, I think we're all going to have basically like the Jetsons, and we're going to have the maid. I was doing a quiz with my friend. I can't remember. It was George and Jane and Judy and Elroy and Astro and Mr. Sprockets. I can't think of the name of the maid for a second, but we're all going to have that robot running around doing stuff for us. By then, I'm not saying it's too late, but it may be a little too late. Okay. We have right now the MCPs that work on your desktop. Like these guys here talk to my site directly. They build directly whatever plugins I need. I have been actually successfully using, I'm very excited, the Goose. Remember I talked to you about the Goose. The Goose is a free open source from the Jack Dorsey's company version of what Claude or Cursor does on the desktop. And I've connected it to Anthropic Opus 4.5, soon 4.6. And I actually been building stuff with him. I'm pretty chuffed about that. What I've been building with him is a tool that I use for managing my software updates. So here you can see I have 123 plugins in the standard WordPress. Rosie, thank you, Rosie. Thank you. Thank you, Gen X, brother. I have 123 plugins. What a drag for Spence to have to monitor anytime a change happens, right? Wouldn't it be cool if I just had it monitoring and notifying me automatically? I actually used, with great fanfare, I used Goose to build this, and it was freaking awesome. And Goose costs nothing because it's using Open Router Key. Hello. So desktop model, always awesome. Great continuity. The way you have to manage files is like we said here, you're going to build a proxy folder for your projects and just have Goose put the files into there so you can synchronize it to GitHub. So in case your laptop takes a dive or something, you won't lose your stuff. But the real magic, let's be honest, is happening in one of two places. Number one, it's happening by using the newest version of the MinuteLaunch Simple site. And I've been working on, among other 1,000 things, I've been working on every day improving MinuteLaunch Simple site so that the new AI beta, the interface, now is mobile friendly and does everything and anything you dreamed of, including creating stuff. And in parallel, and this is I'll wrap up today, I've been working on the MinuteLaunch Claw, which allows him to do stuff independently while you sleep. Okay. So I got the latest simple site. So do you, of version 5.133. If I go here into this interface, I've shown this before. This is where you can have him build all the things I'm asking about. Okay. If I want him to build something, the goal is to have him, you can choose one of these pre-made skills, create a content block, create an email, create code with snippets, right? We've done this before, but I'm saying I could say to the dude, write a single file WordPress plugin that says, hey, everybody, it's Spence. Love to have you here at office hours, and have it scroll across the screen. Create it and show it to me, and then upload it and launch it if you can. Now, this interface that he's doing, being mobile friendly, means that I can essentially on my phone take care of whatever I want to do. I made a mistake, by the way, and I want to show you what just happened. AI is so ubiquitous that when I said that into my whisper type, the whisper type made the plugin. That's wild too. I am just going to paste it here. I should have just used my built-in microphone, but I'll put it in here so you can see what happens. What's going on now is my guy is Fernando. You can customize it because this has, again, your own ability to white label it with your own logo, your own brand. You don't have to pay for the AI keys for API. It's already built in. You'll notice that I can choose from make and model and everything else. But when he writes this code, he shows you the plugin. It's ready to go. And he can even launch it, right? Now, this is what's interesting. He's saying he doesn't have direct access, but he really does. But even if he didn't, I could just use this, copy it, and paste it. I know he does have access because I'll show you with Claw what's going on. Claw is here, he looks the same. Notice the top is darker color just so I can keep them straight. Claw has been given these custom background tasks and so forth. So if I took the same request, let's see how Claw does it, which is really the better way of doing it. Claw acts like a real development team. And he's like, listen, man, no problem. Leave me a bunch of things you want me to do. I will set up a project. Into the project, I will have a bunch of tasks that I will take care of for you. Now, this is amazing because this is exactly what OpenClaw does, except this is my box. This has nothing that's going to hurt me. This is just WordPress. Whether it's me or my client box, see, he created a task and he put that inside of a project, you'll see. So if we go to the tasks view, notice the task that he's got is right here. Notice that it's associated with a project. He's actually not created the project yet. He's still working on the task. When he's done, he will do that. But he has the ability, which is awesome, to act. I'm going to delete some of these other ones. He has the ability to actually launch things into the site and do it while I'm sleeping. Note how important that is. That means that I can literally have $5,000 jobs that are pre-programmed that come from skills that Spence and his dudes invented that I can sell to people too without having to do anything, right? So here right now, he just created the thing, right? If I go to the project, here is the project. It says not yet deployed, but I can preview what he built. Here's the code. Here's the deployment. Deploy it. Now, I'm not sure why I got an error on that, but it is live office hours. That's okay. Maybe there's a little bugaboo. It's okay. The point I'm saying, though, is that he wrote the plugin. The plugin code is here. He does have the ability to manage multiple tasks. And if he did something wrong or something's wrong with the plugin, I am currently working out some of these. It's all inside of a project. So that means that I'll always be able to come back to this and repurpose it again and again and again for another client, which I think is super duper duper awesome. Jack, if you're going to be here another 5 minutes, I'm coming out in a sec. I'm going to try one thing before I say goodbye for today. Let's go back to here. If I want to continue with this, I just click continue. And what should happen if all is working well is I will be able to say, I love what you did, but something went wrong with your deployment. Can you just launch that plugin live to demonstrate that it works? Okay, so you can continue iterating from the tasks in any project. Let's say you wake up and you didn't like some of the stuff that he did. It's exactly like if employees had put stuff on your desk. You're like, listen, Bernard, come into my office for a moment and bring your pad. Okay, so he created a follow-up task, which if we go over here and we refresh this page, we'll see he's working on. Sorry, I clicked the wrong tab. And let's just see if we have some success. It says review. So let's go to the plugins and see if he actually did it. Here it is. Let's activate it. And go to the front of the site. And there it is. By the way, I have two plugins because I did the same gimmick during the week. The top one is, hey, everybody, it's Spence. Love to have you here at office hours. Ta fucking da. So I feel vindicated, and I'm going to swear and say, for those of you who are waiting for whatever your reason, don't wait too long. If you sign up now for $97 a month, host it yourself, do it yourself. Don't ask me for help, a la carte. That's fine. $197 gets you all this and more, fully hosted, ready to use as a production environment to do everything you dreamed of instantly with all the latest stuff, nothing else to buy, no one else to ask. Everything, $197 a month, or buy it for the year, $19.70 for the whole year. If you need my help, you can buy an hour, you can do a mini concierge, you can do a VIP, and I take you where you are to where you want to go to build the business you need, including, by the way, the platform I showed you is available to all of you because I can scale this now to tens of thousands of people with any brand on it, differentiating between what people get. And the sooner you do that, the sooner you've come up with a solution that when you go around to your customers and they have something that they always dreamed of, and you can just do it on spec, you'll be able to say, yeah, that's $5,000. And in maybe 2 minutes, you will have a new customer say yes, which then pays for what you paid me. And then you've got a recurring business model. Rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. Crazy town. I hope you'll join me. Beg, borrow, steal, use your credit card. It's $5,000 on a credit card. You get 5,000 miles. I pay the 3% out of my pocket plus the 2.9% and 30 cents for every transaction. I pay it gladly because I get the money immediately. We get it done immediately. By the way, I will be bringing you testimonials from these other VIP customers, including like Steve, where he says to me, this is crazy. I've just only spent like 3 emails with you and this is already perfect. And I said, of course it is, because it's not me. I'm not that smart. I just have smart dudes working for me. And everybody is going to be doing this soon. So if you don't start doing it now, your biggest danger is in a month or 2 months or 3 months, everybody's going to have some version of this. And Spence is going to be on an island retired because I'm planning on doing this and building this and then continuing my journey with you guys, of course. But, you know, think of Bitcoin, folks. If you were smart enough to buy Bitcoin like me at 7 and you were stupid enough like me to sell it at 400, you feel like a schmuck now that it's $100,000 a share. Don't be like Spence, at least like that. Okay. I love you guys. Thanks for attending. I hope this was valuable. See you on the next one.